It's your boy Stingray. I told you, I'm just doing these shows. I ain't planning them all out. I'm just gonna need some content after content after content. Like now, much love, rest in peace to the New Jack. And much love to all my hardcore fans. And much love to all my hardcore ECW fans. You hear we talk about the man, the myth, the legend, New Jack. ECW's own and North Carolina's own New Jack. New Jack was born. His birth name is Jerome Young. He was born January 3rd, 1963, in Greensboro, North Carolina. He died May 14th, 2021, age 58, in Greensboro, North Carolina. Caused death as heart attack. His spouse is Jennifer Young. They've been married since 2017. He has, see, children five. His built height is 6 feet tall. His built weight is 240 pounds. 240 pounds. Built from South Central Los Angeles, trained by Ray Candy, debuted in 1992. He is also known for being the only wrestler to have had his interest music, Natural Born Killers by Ice Cube and Dr. Dre, played throughout his matches in ECW. After the promotion closed in 2001, Young spent the rest of his career wrestling in the independent circuit until his death in May 2021. His early life. Jerome Young was born on January 3rd, 1963, in Greensboro, North Carolina. In 1968, when he was 5 years old, he and his siblings witnessed his father stab his mother multiple times after he found out she had been cheating on him with other men. 5 months later, he shot her in the leg when she tried to leave and take Young with her. His father died of a heart attack later in that year. He and his mother moved frequently across Georgia, usually trying to stay a step or two ahead of landlords seeking to evict them. He attended various schools before finally graduating from D.M. Darrell High School in Atlanta. While there, Young had a measure of success in football, backing up future Georgia Tech starter Darrell Norton on the on offense and starting on defense. He showed a talent to pass coverage and chose to attend Clark Atlanta University. Young and his friends eventually started robbing stores such as gas stations, sporting goods stores, and jewelry stores. He was an avid user of cocaine. Professional wrestling career. United States Wrestling Association, 1992 to 1993. Young trained under Ray Candy and debuted in 1992 in the Memphis, Tennessee based United States Wrestling Association, also USWA, where he adopted the ring name New Jack, inspired by the 1991 film New Jack City. In June 1993, he won his first championship, the USWA World Tag Team Championship, with his partner Homeboy defeating Simply Divine and holding the title for 2 weeks before losing it to C.W. Bergstrom and Melvin Pernod Jr. He remained with the company until the end of the summer. Then, he moved to North Georgia Wrestling Alliance from 1993 to 1994. After leaving Memphis, New Jack moved to Atlanta and wrestled in North Georgia Wrestling Alliance and won their heavyweight championship in early 1994. He paired up with former WCW enhancement talent Mustafa Saeed and formed the Gangsters, winning the NWA Tag Team title. Winning the NGWA Tag Team Championship in July 1994, but quickly vacated them as they left the territory. Then Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Yeah. 1994 to 1995, New Jack earned his ring name working for Jim Cornette in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. He formed a wrestling crew called the Gangsters. He toured the South and was normally squared off against Southern Babyface Tag Team, the Rock and Roll Express. New Jack's partner was Mustafa Saeed. Extreme Championship Wrestling, 1995 to 2001. The Gangsters, 1995 to 1997. In June 1995, the Gangsters joined the Philadelphia-based Extreme Championship Wrestling (ECW) promotion, otherwise being known as ECW. Debuting for the promotion, in June 1995, the Gangsters joined the Philadelphia-based Extreme Championship Wrestling (ECW) promotion. The 1995, the Gangsters joined the Philadelphia-based Extreme Championship Wrestling promotion ECW. There we go. I like that one better. Debuting for the promotion as a villainous team by attacking the Public Enemy, Rocco Rock, and Johnny Grunge at barbed wire hoodies and choke slams. On June 17, 1995, the Gangsters made their ECW in-ring debut at Hardcore Heaven by competing against Public Enemy. In a losing effort, the two tag teams engaged in a lengthy rivalry and traded wins against each other throughout the year, with the feud ending in a street fight at House Party, which Public Enemy won. Public Enemy departed ECW after the event, thus ended the rivalry at SummerSlam. Gangsters were scheduled to compete in a match against the Headhunters, but Jack was imprisoned in Atlanta and Mustafa was attacked by the Headhunters. Jack returned to ECW on March 8th at Big A Word Extreme Bash to rescue Mustafa from assault by the Headbangers, resulting in the Gangsters turning into fan favorites. Big ass Extreme Bash. Gangsters began pursuing the ECW World Tag Team Championship and entering into a rivalry with the tag team champions, the Eliminators, John Cornus and Perry Saturn, and received several title shots against the Eliminators, but came up short at Fight the Power. Samoan Gangster Party, LA Smooth, and Sammy the Silk made their ECW debut by attacking the Gangsters. Samoan Gangster Party cost Gangsters another title shot against Eliminators at Hardcore Heaven. Gangsters then faced Samoan Gangsters Party in a match at Heat Wave, which ended in a brawl between both teams. Gangsters feuded with the Eliminators, Samoan Gangster Party, and the Bruisey Brothers, led to a four-way dance between the four teams that the Doctor is in, which Gangsters won to capture their first World Tag Team Championship. Gangsters successfully defended the titles against teams such as Samoan Gangster Party, the Eliminators, Rob Van Dam, and Sabu throughout the years. New Jack was involved in the mass transit incident on November 23rd, 1996, in Reverse, Massachusetts. The Gangsters were scheduled to face Devon Dudley and Axel Rotten. Rotten missed the show and was replaced with mass transit Eric Kulas, an untrained 17-year-old who convinced Booker Paul Heyman that he was 21 and been trained by the veteran killer Kowalski. Kulas requested that New Jack blade him during the match, but the incision was made incorrectly, causing excessive bleeding. Kulas was hospitalized as a result, eventually receiving 50 stitches. New Jack was charged with aggravated assault stemming from the incident, but was acquitted. Kulas subsequently sued New Jack and ECW for damages in July 1998, but lost the case. Kulas died on May 12, 2002, at the age of 22 due to complications from gastric bypass surgery. Gangster lost the world. Gangsters lost the world tag team championship back in Eliminators on the January 4th, 1997 episode at Hardcore TV, ended their reign at 139 days. That's a long reign. Gangsters feuded with the Eliminators, the Dudley Boys, as they would say 3D, over the title. The next several months at the Heat Wave, Gangsters defeated the Dudley Boys in a steel cage match to capture the second World Tag Team Championship. Mustafa Saeed left ECW after the title win, leading to the dissolution of the Gangsters. The following months at Hardcore Heaven, Dudley Boys were returned the championship, forfeited by Saeed's departure. The Gangsternators, 1997 to 1998. The departure of Mustafa Saeed and Perry Saturn from ECW led New Jack to form a new tag team with former Eliminator John Kronos called the Gangsternators on August 21st, 1997 by defeating the Dudley Boys. The team debuted on television on September 20th episode of Hardcore TV when Kronos earned a title shot at the ECW World Tag Team Championship by defeating the Dudley Boys, and then Jack showed up as his tag team partner. They received their title shot at As Good as It Gets, where Gangster Natives defeated the Dudley Boys to win the World Tag Team. Shoot. Yeah, here we go. Championship, marking Jack's third title reign. They lost the belts to the full-blooded Italians, Little Guido, aka Nunzio, in WWE, and Tracy Smothers on the November 1st episode of Hardcore TV. They defeated Hardcore chair swinging freaks Axel Rotten and Balls Mahoney. If you ever watch ECW, he'll do that punch where he go balls, 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 Mahoney. Rest in peace, Balls Mahoney. And of course, rest in peace, New Jack. And the Dudley Boys in a three-way dance at Fright Fight and received a rematch for the title against the Dudley Boys in a three-way match. Oh yeah, and dance right. And received a rematch for the title against FBI, the Freaks and Dudleys in a four-way dance in November to remember, but lost. The Gangster Natives resumed their feud with the Dudley Boys as the two teams competed in the match at the 1998 House Party, which Dudleys won. The Gangster Natives formed an alliance with Spike Dudley, the estranged brother of the Dudleys, and TNA was called Brother Runt. He had the acid drop, aka the Dudley drop. Dudley. When he get you like a Stone Cold Stunner, he'll run up the little doggone turnbuckle and pound, hit you with the cutter. The stun. Okay. Oh yeah. Destroying the Spike Dudley, alliance with the Gangsta Natives formed an alliance with Spike Dudley, the estranged brother of the Dudleys. At the Living Dangerously pay-per-view, New Jack and Spike Dudley defeated Hardcore, Chair Swinging Freaks, and Dudley Boys in a three-way dance. Jack then lost to Bam Bam Bigelow, rest in peace, Bam Bam Bigelow. At WrestlePalooza, Jack began emerging as a singles competitor while feuding with the Dudley Boys. This led to Jack and Kronos quietly dissolving Gangsta Natives and going their separate ways as Jack more frequently teamed with Spike Dudley to feud with the Dudley Boys. New Jack began dragging in a garbage can full of weapons and throwing it into the ring as sort of an ultraviolet trash bag singles competition. Basic singles competition 1999 to 2001. New Jack's feud with the Dudley Boys continued in 1999 as he teamed with Dudley to lose to them and guilty as charged at the Crossing Line 1999. Jack brought out his former gangster tag team partner Mustafa Saeed to compete against the Dudley Boys, but Mustafa turned on Jack by smashing a guitar on his head and revealed himself to be the mysterious benefactor benefactor of the Dudleys. He wanted to run the public enemy and New Jack out of ECW. As a result, Jack began a rivalry with Mustafa, which culminated in a match between the two at Living Dangerously, which Jack won. At SummerSlam, Jack teamed with hardcore chair swinging freaks Axel Rotten and Balls Mahoney, losing the ultimate Balls Mahoney. Balls Mahoney. And losing an Ultimate Jeopardy match to Mustafa and the Dudleys. Afterwards, Jack drove Mustafa through a table with a diving splash. That's what he's known for. As also would call it the 187 splash. 187 because it's dangerous and it could kill you, and it kills you. From the top of the cage, Jack was out of action for the next few months until he returned to ECW at Heatwave, where he attacked Dudley Boys with weapons from a shopping cart. On October 22nd episode of ECW on TNN, which later became Spike TV, received his first opportunity for the World Heavyweight Championship against Mike Awesome, who went to WCW. He had a lot of flack from ECW for going to WCW, especially with the championship belt, especially the ECW championship belt against, but failed to win the title on the November 5th episode of ECW on TNN. Jack rescued hardcore chair swinger freaks from the attack by the Diabaldes, the Spanish Angel, Vito Lagrasso, Tony DeVito, and Vic Grimes, but Angel stapled Jack in the eyes. This led to a lengthy rivalry between Jack and Angel over the unofficial title of King of the Streets. The two battled back and forth over the matter of in bloody street fights. One of ECW's television's most gruesome moments was when, in the course of the match, Angel used New Jack's staple gun, which he often wore around his neck with a chain, against him, stapling him in the eye. Referees called off the match, and New Jack disappeared from the air for many months. New Jack returned by the end of 1999 with his eye singly recovered, now sporting a psyche around his neck, claiming that he had ungraded the staple gun. Mm. Their first encounter was in November to Remember, where Jack and the Freaks lost to the Baldys in a handicap match. At the 2000 Guilty as Charged pay-per-view, Jack lost a singles match to Angel due to interference by the Baldys. I know they got hurt, so he could have lost the eye or lose a vision or got his eye removed or got an infection on the eye that got his eye removed. He just could just permanently been blind in one eye. Most step guns ain't no joke. I ain't never been a professional wrestler. I ain't never been a hardcore wrestler, but I'm assuming it feels good. Jack lost the singles match to Angel due to interference by the Baldys at the Living Dangerously live pay-per-view in Danbury, Connecticut. Connecticut on March 12th. New Jack suffered serious injuries during the match against Vic Grimes, involving a bump that required them to jump and fall 15 feet off a scaffold. Mere seconds before the jump, Grimes became reluctant to take the very risky bump, and New Jack annoyed the Grimes reluctant because the live broadcast they had no time to improvise, dragged Grimes down with him after the count fall. Grimes awkwardly fell off a second after New Jack, instead of falling together in the safest fashion. They fell off the scaffold, missed the tables, and was supposed to absorb the force of their fall and landed on the concrete floor with Grimes landing on New Jack's head. New Jack suffered brain damage, a broken leg, a skull fracture, resulting in permanent insomnia, was permanently blinded in his right eye, and spent 6 months recovering. But even while injured, Jack defeated the Baldys to lead the Angel in the match. 2 months later in Hardcore Heaven, he appeared at Heatwave, where he appeared on crutches and Angel stapled him with a staple gun in the forehead until Nova and Chris Cheedy made a save and defeated the Baldys in the tag team match. Jack was out of action in a few months. He returned to ECW on September 22nd, episode of ECW on TNN, where he rescued Spike Dudley from the assault by Justin Credible, as he would say, Justin Credible, and Rhino, the War Machine, the master of the gore, or uh, powerhouse Rhino, the man, tough as nails. It was named the number one contender for Rhino's World Television Championship in November to Remember. He failed to win the title. In his last CCW match, Jack defeated longtime rival Angel on the December 17th episode of Hardcore TV. Jack remained with the promotion, which was closed due to bankruptcy a month later in January 2001. So that incident, like, they was supposed to fall safely on the table, but the man, he hesitated. New Jack went ahead and went with it because they couldn't improvise during a live show, and he fell on New Jack's head when he's blind and white eye and had insomnia and things, and the brain damage and the broken leg and skull fracture. It resulted in permanent insomnia. Basically, resulted in permanent insomnia was, I guess, like he had tough time sleeping. Now, XPW in the independent circuit from 2001 to 2012. After ECW declared bankruptcy in April 2001, New Jack began wrestling on the independent circuit in 2001 and 2002, and he wrestled for XPW in 2003. Hmm. He made multiple appearances with Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, aka TNA, now called Impact Wrestling, Hey Monica, and Combat Zone Wrestling, aka CZW, competing in the Cage of Death V, which I think is 5. I don't know my Roman numerals. I don't know my Roman numerals like that. In 2004, Jack appeared in the IWA and WWE in dark matches. He worked at the ECW reunion show Hardcore Homecoming on June 10th, 2005, as well as competing on the Extreme Reunion Tour from September 15th to 16th. On February 2002, Jack met Vic Grimes in a scaffold match in XPW Free Fall event. As final maneuver to the match, Jack shot Grimes with a taser before throwing him from the scaffold, sending him crashing in the ring 40 feet below. There were over 12 tables stacked on the top of each other in the ring to break the fall, in which Grimes missed all but two and came within a foot of missing the ring completely, which would have killed him. He broke his fall on top of the rope, dislocating his ankle, among other injuries. In 2005, documentary Forever Hardcore, and 2020 episode of Dark Side of the Ring centered around him. New Jack claimed that this was a break from the script, and his intentions were to throw Grimes so hard that he would fall head first into a steel turnbuckle and be killed. That was done, according to New Jack, over a grudge based on Grimes not contacting him when he was recovering from his injuries. After this fall in Danbury, however, Arthur O'Neill, a writer of WrestleCrap, disputed this, citing Jack's apparent concern for Grimes' safety in the previous match at XPW and how the initial spot seemed. Hey, how you doing, Monica? On April 2003, New Jack was in a hardcore match with longtime wrestler Gypsy Joe. Before the match, Jack met Joe and asked the booker to show what he was supposed to do with him. Jack was told Gypsy Joe is tough as leather, and Jack replied that he was not going to lose a dollar value from this match and would not have a comedy or a gimmick match, but that he would kill Joe in this match. For unknown reasons, Joe was consistently not selling New Jack. For unknown reasons, Joe was consistently not selling New. I mean, no. For unknown reasons, Joe was consistently no selling New Jack, and Joe headbutted him in the nose. Jack then got angry with Joe and decided to get a genuine sale by legitimately attacking Jack, the 69-year-old man, with a chair and framed picture of his aunt, a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire, and several other weapons. The crowd horrified by Jack's savage beating of this man. Eda left the show and discussed started calling Jack the N-word, a term he had been called almost every week during his days in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. In an interview for Vince in 2019, Jack stated, "The more money called me an N-word, the angrier I got, and the more I beat the guy up." Yeah, New Jack was hardcore as it came. Next to Sabu, well, next to Sabu, Rhino, I would say Public Enemy wasn't hardcore like that, but Bam Bam Bigelow or Rob Van Dam. In October 2004, New Jack wrestled for Thunder Wrestling Federation, was scheduled to fight fellow wrestler William Jason Lane at an event near Jacksonville, Florida. During the match, Lane and New Jack surprised began punching him in the face legitimately and landed a few blows. New Jack then pulled out a metal blade from his camouflage wrestling attire and stabbed Lane multiple times in the head. Then New Jack stated to the Vice documentary series Dark Side of the Ring that the news stated he stabbed Lane 16 times. This action caused New Jack to receive various felony charges, including for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and aggravated assault to commit murder. New Jack claimed that the two met prior to the match and agreed to use a piece of metal to inflict injury. Despite this, a police officer who was recording the incident stated that it looked like he went past a routine wrestling match. The promoter of the event, Mr. Maurice Williams, claimed that the event was never intended to be hardcore. New Jack has claimed that he only stabbed Lane 9 times. New Jack announced his retirement on HBW's Cold as Hell. A Cold Day in Hell. No, hold on. New Jack, see, stabbed Lane 9 times. New Jack has claimed that he only stabbed Lane 9 times. New Jack announced his retirement on XPW's The Cold Day to Hell in 2008. Though he continued working independent shows in 2012, New Jack competed for Extreme Rising and CGW, Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, aka TNA 2003 and 2010. During 2003, New Jack wrestled occasionally events at TNA Wrestling on April 2nd, 2003. NWA, TNA, New Jack, Barry Saturn, and the Sandman defeated Christopher Daniels, the Fallen Angel, and the Harris Brothers. On April 9th, NWA, TNA, New Jack and Sandman lost a three-way match to the Harris Brothers on April 16th. NWA, TNA, New Jack and the Sandman lost to Brian Lee and Slash on April 23rd. NWA, TNA, New Jack, Perry Saturn, and the Sandman defeated Brian Lee, Slash, and Mike Awesome. NWA, New Jack and Shark Boy lost to Ron Killings and Don Harris in the Anarchy Alliance. Then competed hard 10 tournament, defeated Slash quarterfinals, then defeated Mike Sanders in the semifinals before in the semifinals defeat Slash in the quarterfinals, then defeated Mike Sanders in the semifinals before losing in the finals to Sandman on July 16th. NWA, TNA, New Jack also wearing the Shark Boy mask, and Shark Boy lost to the Harris Brothers. On August 8th, 2010, lost to the Harris Brothers in what was New Jack's final TNA match. On August 8th, 2010, New Jack appeared at TNA's ECW Union show Hardcore Justice, where he and Mustafa assaulted Team 3D and Joel Gardner after a match. Returned to Professional Wrestling 2016-2021. On April 16th, 2006, New Jack appeared in Wrestling more Money Mark Productions, facing Brad Cass in Lewisburg, Tennessee. On June 16th, 2016, New Jack was set to face former UFC star Phil Baroni in an unsanctified match at Pro Wrestling Syndicate event at Starling Baltimore in Sayreville, New Jersey. On October, New Jack made an appearance at the Crusades 2 wrestling event in Minneapolis, where he interfered in a match between Eugene and Tommy Lee Curtis, running out with a garbage can full of weaponry. New Jack helped save Eugene from a beatdown and ended up doing a diving splash through a table to pin Tommy Lee. That's some comparison. Around the same year, when Young was walking home from a wrestling event, he collapsed and doctors found blood clots throughout his legs, back, and lungs, saying, with the heart trouble I already had, I could feel myself getting close to my final bell. In January, Jack was eliminated in a battle royale by White Mike, with Jack subsequently going to defeat Mike in a singles match. In March, he teamed with fellow ECW alumni, the Sandman, as the Sandman would do with the beer, and just incredible. In a winning effort in ECW show, he made appearance in VIP Wrestling, where he defeated Masada. In, a, in his final match leading up to his death, Jack faced fellow ECW alumni C.W. Anderson and Shane Douglas before taking time off due to surgery. In other media, the video game ECW Anarchy Rules New Jack theme song was recorded by Bootsy Collins with multiple unique lyrics. Unlike every character's theme, which is considered to off-cover versions of the real theme, Natural Born Killers, could not be featured. Copyright issues from the record labels wouldn't allow it. New Jack was featured in the 1999 wrestling documentary Beyond the Mat. In addition, he appeared in the television series Early Edition on May 6, 2000 as a biker in the episode Male Squirts Bounty Hunter. He also featured in the video game Backyard Wrestling 2. There goes the neighborhood. New Jack is also the subject of an episode of documentary series Dark Side of the Ring. The hour-long episode debuted on Vice on March 31st, 2020. New Jack is a reference in 1996 Weezer single El Scorcho with the line watching Grudge leg drop New Jack through a press table. New Jack, along with wrestler Jay Lover, made a one-time appearance on The Daily Show on the May 9th, 2013 episode of the show in a segment entitled Stay Out of School. Reviews 2008 part two of the Iron Sheik, Honky Tonk Man, where Christian White double murder and suicide was discussed. Young committed that nothing could excuse what Ben White had done to and anybody in WWE or elsewhere defending Ben White wrestlers from public scrutiny were hypocrites. He also thought it was ironic how ECW had seen as a violent, dangerous promotion where drugs use was Encouraged, yet there was only one person who died during Young's 5 year tenure with the company, whereas WWE has averaged 3 deaths a year. In the same interview, Young accused WWE chairman Vince McMahon of murder and helping of murder and helping falsify wrestlers' drug tests. Young was critical of Paul Heyman as a promoter, primarily due to Heyman's penchant for lying to his roster, as well as for cheating them out of their paychecks. In 2012, Young criticized Abdullah the Butcher for using dirty blades on his wrestlers and stated that Young was HIV positive. Personal life and health and death. From 2009 to 2011, Young was in a relationship with Terry Reynolds. After the relationship ended, Reynolds filed a lawsuit against Young for libel and to block distribution of sexually explicit photos he had of Reynolds. Young was married to Jennifer Young. One of his daughters, a drag queen named Washington White, revealed in 2020 that Young had disowned her a few years earlier due to being a drag queen. Young responded to the claim stating, "My son was mentioned in my book that just came out last year, so the statement about me disowning him 3 years ago is simply not true." Young later commented on the Facebook Live video, "I would like to say to you little blank blank in Memphis, but you know who you are. You're not my son. You little blank." Height stated after Young passing that he was proud of me. He wanted to fix things but didn't know how. After retiring, Young regularly used prescribed painkillers to help the pain from various injuries he sustained during his career. In 2016, he collapsed while walking home from an event. He was diagnosed with blood clots in the legs, back, and distal heart problems. Tommy Dreamer revealed that when he tried to book Young for his House of Hardcore promotion, Young said he was in poor health and often bedridden due to his heart problems and failing vision. On May 14, 2021, Young died of a heart attack in the afternoon at his Greensboro, North Carolina home at the age of 58. May he rest in peace. That's the story of New Jack. Now about to go into his championships and accomplishments. American Championship Pro Wrestling, ACPW Hardcore Champion one time, Extreme Championship Wrestling, ECW World Tag Team Championship 3 times with Mustafa Saeed 2 and John Kranos 1, North Georgia Wrestling Association, NGWA Heavyweight Championship 1 time, NGWA Tag Team Championship 2 times with Feastus and Mustafa Saeed, Smoky Mountain Wrestling Tag Team Champion 1 time with Mustafa Saeed, Universal Championship Wrestling UCW Hardcore Champion 1 time, United States Wrestling Association USWA World Tag Team Championship 1 time with Homeboy. Pro Wrestling Illustrated ranked number 101 on the top 500 singles wrestlers at PWI 500 in 1997, ranked number 386 on the top 500 singles wrestlers of the PWI years in 2003. Bibliography Jack New Norman Jason 2020 New Jack Memoir of a Pro Wrestler Extremist McFarlane and Company Inc. PP 2934 ISBN 978-1476-679-778. That's the story of New Jack. Much love to everyone. Peace out and God bless. Make sure you come like, share, and subscribe.